everyone. I wanted to take a moment because I've been having these ahas as I continue to do my research and in the area of, so my doctoral study topic is successful strategies that, successful strategies that software development managers use for mentoring. And for those who know me know that I started speaking about my first talks were about how to mentor. And then I did a podcast yesterday which reminded me of this, about mentoring and the value of mentoring. And then I look back on, let me connect some dots here. Then I look back on the Stack Overflow developer survey and the results video that I did. And then I look back on at the end of last year, I said I wasn't going to do any more of this inclusion and diversity stuff because it does not pay. People want to talk about it, but no one wants to put their money where their mouth is. So I was bound and determined to just focus on business. It's all I was going to focus on, is building businesses, helping entrepreneurs, particularly underrepresented and marginalized communities, build businesses. Because, and also I want you to go look at the movie. It's on Netflix, Saving Capitalism, because they talk about the Powell memo, and it talks about the strategic plan that was put in place by businesses to take control of the government and all these other things. So it's like all these different marches and things that are happening. If it's not in a business owner's best interest, they usually don't go anywhere. And that's where I came up with the, outrage is reactive and strategy is proactive. So I sound like I'm wondering right now, but it's going to come to a point because it always does. So as I do more, like I said, I had the conversation yesterday, and I started talking about this after the Stack Overflow video that I created when I was giving my assessment, my evaluation of the results. This is why I cannot step away from inclusion and diversity. This is why, and I'm embracing it now. And it's been a fight internally with me because it depresses me, and I don't like being depressed. You know, my motto is, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And inclusion and diversity is seldom both, because there's so many people who are against it for whatever reasons. They bought into whatever somebody said, or they don't understand the research or whatever. And then you have that group of people who understand privilege, but it's easier for them to talk about it and to do things. And then it's those few people who can do things, but we're not connected, so nothing really ever gets done. And so it's quite frustrating. It's fight. I don't believe in like spinning my wheels and all these other things. And so, but I cannot get away from this because inclusion and diversity makes great business sense. It's a business case. It is just not political. It's not moral. It's not even about, it's the right thing to do. Screw it's the right thing to do. I'm going to come at this from a very analytical, very objective perspective. Inclusion and diversity are the right things to do, because every time I think I'm stepping away from it, I step right back into it. Because if I look at so Stack Overflow is this platform where there's information, there's knowledge, people are sharing this knowledge. But I know, because of my research, knowledge is only as valuable and is only as useful as the people who put that knowledge there. So if the individuals who are sharing and people, the Stack Overflow community will argue with me to the end of time, but the majority of people do not like being in that space. They find it toxic. They will go on there to see if there's a question their question has been answered. Very few people from underrepresented and marginalized communities will ever ask a question because they fear being treated like shit. And that's just the way that culture is. Culture is the basis of the foundation of everything. So if your culture sucks, the information, the knowledge, the resources that are inside of that culture will not be beneficial to all. It's going to be specific to that culture. And that's why we're talking about inclusion and diversity, and why I'm talking about it is so important, because I strongly believe that very soon we will find that it is not going to be in our best interest to go on Stack Overflow and get get information, and that is going to be the #1 knowledge portal, because that information is biased. It is the people who are there are young, white, and privileged men. The majority are between 18 to 34 who are actively participating. The ones who are getting the badges, they gamified all of that. It is not a culture. The information that they bring is not going to be conducive to building quality products and services for a global market, particularly when we're talking about AI, deep learning, and machine learning. Because first of all, at that age, you don't know enough. You don't have enough experience to be able to extrapolate that out to the broader community. You're very self-centered at that age, because we all are in our 20s or whatever. We're focused on us. It only comes with perspective and years of experience and learning and failing that the majority of people, or I hope people, gain some perspective about how if I'm creating something, it's not about me, it's about my customer, it's about my client. And that doesn't always happen that early. And it's not, a lot of it has to do with just how the brain functions. Research has shown the 18-year-old brain is just not as mature. I mean, even the 25-year-old brain, that's when they really think it's developed. But it takes not just development, but it takes experience, and it takes years of that to happen. I've been working with young people. I've been working with learners of all ages since I was 18. And only at 48, which is 30 years later, all the pieces are starting to come together. And I see how how what I learned 10 years ago is helping me today, or 15 years ago. And so it comes with time. And so also when I'm thinking about mentors, I've said this time and time again, the research shows that although mentorship is very important, it's best to have no mentor at all than a bad mentor. So again, that's about the quality of knowledge. And in an information economy, and I'm talking about this because in an information economy, what differentiates you in the marketplace, what is your competitive advantage in the marketplace, is being able to differentiate yourself from the competitors. It's not about the widgets, because it's not industrial age. It's not about how fast you can create widgets, how special your widget is. It's about the knowledge that you can create it within your organization, and then use that knowledge to create and to be innovative and create products and services that allow you to be competitive and profitable. Let's step back. If that knowledge is coming from individuals who, let's talk about mentorship, who who have no patience, who, my way or the highway, who have a way of doing things, and when someone questions them, they can't explain why. I mean, these are just bad experiences for people who are learning. And so as much as I try to Lord knows I've tried to get away from inclusion and diversity, because it's a shit space for a person who's both underrepresented and marginalized to be trying to explain to white people of privilege, why I matter, why I should be getting paid, why should we be paid, why you should be welcoming us into your organizations, why you should be welcoming us into your communities, why our perspectives and voices matter. This is hard as work, and I find that I end up laying on my couch, not able to move more often than I want to. And this is where I get, and where I find myself oftentimes on Twitter, because I don't want to step my foot into the political spectrum or the arena, wanting to tweet, wanting to respond to something, and then I back off because I know what that's going to cause. I don't get the trolls and the backlash that some other people do, because I strictly talk about business. You cannot argue with me about the research. I mean, I can throw you articles. I can do all of that. So I want to stay in this space, because you know what? I'm going to tell you, this is where I can have the most impact, because I understand about the business case for inclusion and diversity. So that's why because I just got off the couch. I have not moved all day. I just had absolutely no energy to move all day. Just because when I see the stuff that I see on Twitter or seeing the news, it's just really just not a kind, and it's just not a space that I want to spend my time, because that's my energy. That's a resource I can't get back. But yet I have to remind myself that I'm in this space to talk about it from a business perspective. And so again, I'm going to ask, I'm going to tell you that I am going to step out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to focus on white men ages 18 to 34. If no other reason is to give them the research, give them the information. I don't know how many who will want to join causeascene, I already know there's some who are gonna clap back, and I'm gonna have to go the fuck off. I already know that, because what you're not gonna do is disrespect me, because I have years of experience working with learners of all ages in this background and getting this doctorate in this space. And so what I want to do is help move this, because this is the group of people who are the bottleneck. Because we see it. We see how white males ages 40 and over, many of them that have been in tech, many have started to see where their ideas when they were younger were discriminatory, were biased, were derogatory. And so it takes that perspective. It takes that time of getting older and understanding these things. So I'm asking again, if you're interested in being a power ally with me on this, and that is a white male, I'm looking for white men, any age, who believe in causeascene, who believe in we need to change this culture for the better for us all, please DM me at KIMCRAYTON1, so we can start moving this project forward, moving this movement forward. Because again, I am not against white men. What I am against is white men who have no perspective beyond their own, making all the decisions that affect us all. That has to stop. So thank you and have a great day.